Okay, good morning, everyone. Did you have a good breakfast? No, no, still hungry. Okay, okay. Come on, good morning. You see, every show you have to speak loudly. Okay, welcome to Brazil, welcome to São Paulo, and to the University of São Paulo. It's really a pleasure to have you here. I'm sure you're going to have a very intense, but also nice week. Actually, it's going to be a nice week in terms of weather. You were able to bring with you the sunshine for this week. We had a very cold and rainy week last week, but this week is going to be sunshine. So welcome here. Let's start, of course, on the Brazilian time. We always start after 10 minutes past the initial time, but that's okay. Let's try actually this morning to keep the time, then you can have some more time to discuss during the lunchtime. We will have coffee breaks, a lot of food, I can assure you of that. And then you can have the other periods to talk a little bit about our project and other things. Well, let me start to introduce our director here at the Institute of Astronomy, Geophysics and Atmospheric Science, Professor Pedro Silva Dias, that is going to give us some welcome here.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. I think this is has the potential to be a great meeting. As I was talking to some of you just before, and I think that from IAG point of view, this institute, as some of you may probably don't know, is I actually define IAG as a sort of a zoo, because we have astronomy, geophysics, and atmospheric sciences. And you might think, okay, what is the connection between the three areas? Well, there are lots of connections, in fact, when you talk about earth sciences. And from a methodological point of view, there is also a lot of potential connectivity among the three departments. And the other interesting point is that in this neighborhood of IAG, we have the Institute of Physics across the street, the Institute of Oceanography, the other side of on this side, we have the Institute of Mathematics and Statistics. The Institute of Geoscience is just here. And the Institute of Energy and Environment is just across the fence on this side. So this is a very interesting place from the point of view of, in a radius of about 500 meters, 400 meters. You have all these people doing very interesting work and in science, environmental sciences. So I hope that you will enjoy this week, and please let us know if you need any help. And most of all, as I usually say, have fun, right? I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun during the week. Okay.
Thank you, Pedro. And also I'd like to invite Professor Brasseur, the big boss. Oh.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Tercio. Well, first of all, good morning. I'm Guy Brasseur. I'm the PI of the Klimapolis project. And I will start, first of all, to thank very much, let's say, the university, but also IAG in particular, to have invited us to have this first workshop today here. And in fact, we will have two meetings here. The first one is the Klimapolis project, but we have a sister project or a brother project, I don't know exactly how we should say it, which is basically a project on a city lab. So it's very similar. It's supported by other agencies, but the PIs now are Anita, who is here, as well as Ali, who is kind of behind a lot of things we're doing, including this project. So they will connect really, I think it's Thursday when they start, and this will be a 2-day workshop. But intellectually, it's very, very, very close, and because intellectual curiosity should have no barrier, no frontiers, we just said we invite everybody for the 2 workshops. Now, Klimapolis and also urban, I mean, the lab, urban lab, is really to think about the creation of a joint institute that should be sustained between Germany and Brazil to really think about the environment and the city in general, urban aspect. This is a growing subject because it is very interdisciplinary, it connects. We heard about, for example, the energy groups, the climate people, the people doing air pollutions, but also the people who think about urbanization, the development, and the people who live in the city. So it's also a very strong social-oriented problem. So very interdisciplinary, and creating a long-term joint institute between 2 continents would be perhaps something of high appeal, and maybe also a little bit of financing that would go with it. So this is kind of the goal of all these meetings that we have. And of course, what we're going to do here is really think much about the content, intellectual content of what could be part of such a joint institute. Now, some of you were not here at the previous kickoff meeting of Klimapolis. So it might be good to hear a little bit about what Klimapolis is attempting to do as an introduction. And so we have a scientist who is the manager, the director, if you want, of Klimapolis, and that's Nico, who is here. The integrated director. Yeah, it's good. And I'm just a PI, so I kind of oversee things, but Nico does the real work. So I asked him to tell us a bit what Klimapolis is. So Nico.
Thanks, Guy. Yeah, I mean, like Guy said, I'm behind all those emails that you receive and everything, right? So bear with me. So, and in the end, I'm not, for those who don't know me, my background is not on atmospheric science. I'm an oceanographer. So I'm probably one of the few in this room who know nothing about what Klimapolis is about. It's a joke. It's just that I'm managing the project from behind, all the bureaucracy and organizing the meetings and everything. So like Guy said, because quite a few of you were not here in the kickoff meeting, we had a kickoff meeting at INPE in February. So quite a few of you were not there. So it's good to remind, first, remind those who were what Klimapolis is about, and then let you know, for those who were not here, what it is about. So Klimapolis is, that's the official title, towards the joint governance of climate change and air pollution, and is supported by BMBF, which is the Federal Ministry of Education and Research in Germany. And Max Planck Institute for Meteorology hosts the project office. So Klimapolis at a glance, it's a 5-year joint project, right? So to establish and develop a long-term cooperative research of urban and air pollution and climate change in metropolitan areas of Brazil. So we have 2 phases I'm going to show. The first phase, 2 years focused on São Paulo, and then the next phase we would introduce 3 other cities in Brazil in the Northeast, Recife, Natal, and Fortaleza. So like I said, funded by BMBF, and each will address questions of coevolution of urbanization, climate change, and air pollution in several metropolitan areas of Brazil. And it will integrate, this is important, integrate complementary expertise through staff exchange between Brazil and Germany, training course, and joint workshops. So we are not starting anything new, but we are using the opportunity to get what has happened for many years already, of collaboration between Brazil and Germany in some of those topics. But to give an overview of where Klimapolis sits within the strategic planning of BMBF, BMBF has several bilateral research structures in Latin America, and the goal is long-term networking, with different partners or different partner countries in Latin America, construction of long-term bilateral research structures, which would be more of what Guy mentioned about this joint institute, access for research networks, research resources, research institutions. Also to discuss with funding agencies here in Brazil to open up research funds in the partner countries. So here in Brazil, we would have to talk and discuss opportunities with FAPESP, CAPES, and PQ, although the current situation is not very good, but still, there's hope. And also visibility of the German excellence in science. So the strategic point of view from BMBF is to bring the experts from Germany to support the good science that is done in the countries in South America. And improvement of international innovations with Germans, research institutes, and for the benefit of society. I think that's then what we want to do as scientific partners. So in this call where Klimapolis was funded, there were 9 projects which is now funded by BMBF within South America. So I'm just going quickly here to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think in different areas of health, so environmental research and urbanization, like Klimapolis here. In Brazil, we have 2. So there's this Blue Econet in Florianópolis. There are 3 or 4 in Chile. So they have excellent cooperation in Chile. And second? Okay. So. And there is one in Mexico as well. So, and in Venezuela. So, BMBF funded all those projects in different areas to support activities for networking between German partners and the country researchers. So Klimapolis is not just there as BMBF wanted to fund something with Brazil. No, it's part of a bigger strategic planning from BMBF. Oh, so there we go. So there's one in Argentina as well. So there is a long timeline from what BMBF wants. So we had a visit in April after the workshop we had in Brazil. From the point of view of the coordination from the German side, so we had to show them what we had planned already discussed at the coffee meeting. So next year, in May, June, we have to submit an interim report of what advances we have made. So this report will be used for BMBF to approve the second phase of Klimapolis. So it's not granted. If we do nothing, we sit down and do nothing, nothing is going to happen in the next 3 years because they are not going to fund, and I will be unemployed. So, so if I harass you to do something, it's because I think about myself, right? My salary. What we want is to have this long-term partnership, and more importantly, is that after the project finishes, all those projects that BMBF have, it is that they want those projects to become self-sustained. So with funding from different partners, different funding agencies, including from the partner countries in South America. So the objectives of Klimapolis, to work with city officials, to develop those tools for air quality and climate change, work with governance of those topics, and involve stakeholders from different areas. But like Guy said, it is at the end to conceptualize, initiate, and develop a joint German-Brazilian institute on urbanization and climate change. So we would like to bring all the partners who are doing work in climate change and air quality in metropolitan areas and be part of this and to initiate this German-Brazilian institute, virtual or not. So we have, those are things that we are going to have to discuss. So like I said, the Klimapolis cities, starting with São Paulo and then including Fortaleza, Natal, and Recife. The partners in Germany, Max Planck Institute for Meteorology, Garrix, the Climate Service Center, University of Hamburg, and University of Bonn. So those are the PIs of those institutions, and myself as project manager, although Guy just upgraded me to director. Does it come with a salary increase? No, probably not. So in Brazil, the partners we have here, IAG, we have Pedro Jacobi from the Institute of Advanced Studies, INPE, both the CCST, CPTEC, Universidade Tecnológica Federal do Paraná, Jorge and Leila, Federal de Minas Gerais with Tassiana, FUNSEMI, and Federal do Rio Grande do Norte with Judith. So Klimapolis, we have this big focus on different areas where we would work with observations, we would work with modeling, both regional and climate modeling with both regional and global, regional air quality, so integrating the observations with some of the modeling to have air quality, but in the end is to define vulnerability and impacts, work with dissemination tools towards better policy making. So this is Klimapolis as a whole, right? And this translates to working groups that we have. So the initial phase, we have 3 working groups with a timeline for the milestones. I have another slide just with the milestones for this starting phase. And the second phase, we would consolidate with more things. It's good to remember that Klimapolis, we are not funding research. We are just funding the coordination and networking of partners. So it's important that we go after the research money from the funding agencies and developing good ideas and write proposals. So this is something that on Wednesday morning we are going to discuss the proposals and the research that we are going to develop and try to get funding for that. So just some milestones for the starting phase. We had the kickoff meeting in Brazil. We are having this workshop which will be more focused on the governance side here at USP. We will have a workshop more focused on modeling, which Garrix is going to host. So we are starting the preparations for that. So it's going to be in December, 17th to 21st of December in Hamburg. So the timeline would show that from June this year to April next year, we would write joint proposals. We develop these proposals, but we haven't started that. We are going to really discuss this on Wednesday. From November to July, we would have training visits, but those have already started. We had Philip, Frank, where's Philip? There you go. Philip went to Natal to work with Judith last week, but this week we are going to work also with Fatima and the group here. So those training visits are going to be an important concept for Klimapolis. Some of the partners from Germany coming to Brazil, spending up to 2 weeks, not only in the starting phase, but consolidation phase as well. And next year we would have a workshop on modeling here in Brazil. Things are still to be decided. Writing joint papers, and have an integration meeting in September. This is what we have initially, but probably have to bring forward the organization of this integration meeting to April, maybe, because in June we have to submit the interim report, right? And that's it. This is Klimapolis at a glance. I think I took longer than it should, but it's important for all the partners here to really understand what Klimapolis is about. It's not this meeting. It's not the kickoff meeting. We have a plan for 5 years, but to make that happen, we need everybody involved in. I know it is not only the only work you have in your life, but it is important. There's huge potential for things to happen in the future. Great, thank you. And if you have any questions, just let me know here. Okay, thank you. I think you were talking now, right? Right. So the idea of the agenda for the workshop now in the first day was to really bring up everybody up to speed. What is out there? What's the state of the art in happening around in the topics of Klimapolis?
Cool.
So Tercio is going to talk about regional climate. Andrea Young from Semaden. Is Andrea here? There you go. Andrea is there. She's going to talk on, give a talk on the vulnerabilities here in the São Paulo metropolitan area. Then Fatima, what do we know about air pollution here in São Paulo? Then Camila is going to talk about local action for climate change mitigation and adaptation here in São Paulo. And then we are going to have a talk on, from CETESB to show us what they are doing. So it's just to bring a level base of what is out there, and from there, what we need to do to fill in the gaps and everything.